Alright, so ons was by Barta en Elias gewees. Elias het vir Barta gevra oor die patat, so kom ons lees gou verder. Barta sê, ek hoor Elias, ek was nou by die patat, hulle is nog nie sag nie. Van môre af gaan ek Lukas by die balke sit en hom leer om 'n byl vas te hou, sodat hy sy nik kan uitsweet. Moenie aan hom slaan nie, Elias. Ek sal hom nie slaan as hy na my luister nie. Die magistraat het gesê hy sal gereeld laat verneem. Hy kan maar laat verneem, dis in my vuur wat die kaaiing lê. As Lukas nog een keer skop of skree of op 'n hoop gaan sit, gaan ek vir hom voeter. Ek laat my nie van 'n kind hanteer nie. Tant Gertjie sê hy sal nog gewoond raak. Ek sê jou, hy was te lank onder die breingoed. Dis wat dit is. Om darm jou eie vlees en bloed te hoor baas sê vir 'n ander wit man is nie lekker nie. Barta gaan skink koffie en bring dit terug. Ek sien hy is daarom vanoggend saam met Nina bos toe. Ek het gesien, ja. Hy moet nou net nie dink hy sal elke dag met haar saam gaan leeg lê nie. Ek het jou al hoeveel keer gesê om haar aan die werk te steek. Sy loop net vir kwaad doen rond. Sy het laasweek heel week geskoffel, Elias. Jy meen seker met die skoffel gedans. Sy het daarom geskoffel. Jy moet kyk dat sy uitbly uit die bos uit. Dis nie 'n plek vir 'n meisiekind nie. Jy sal haar nie uit die bos hou nie. Ek sal vir haar vasmaak soos jy 'n wegloop os vasmaak. Ek sê vir jou, daar is fout met haar. Die ligte doof uit, musiek en ligte op. Elias skree, Nina, Lukas! Barta kom uit die huis. Elias, moenie kom neel nie, vrou. Jy kan Nina 'n pak slaag gee. Ek sal help om maar vir jou vas te keer, maar moenie vir Lukas slaan nie. Die magistraat kan enige dag 'n boswagter stuur om te kom kyk hoe dit met hom gaan en dan is hy vol merke. Barta, moenie dat ek vandag tot kook kom nie. Moet ek nou elke keer daartoe loop en die magistraat se chap kry voordat ek my vaderplig kan nakom? Ek het dit nie so bedoel nie. Nou hou dan op om elke keer die magistraat voor my te kom sleep as ek 'n vinger aan die kind wil lig. As daardie twee maaksels vandag uit die bos kom, gaan hulle by my verbykom. Hulle sal bylkap tot hulle lê, tot hulle 'n balk uit 'n blok kan haal waarmee ek tevrede is. Barta af. Nina probeer skelm die huis insluip. Blikskottel, kom hier. Elias spring op en gryp na Nina. Jou klein blikskottel, gedink jy kan byl neergooi en wegraak, nee? Gedink my oë is toe, nee? Gedink ek slaap? Maar hiervoor sal jy bars tot ek sê dis genoeg. Hoor jy my maaksel? Hy trek haar aan die bos hare rond. Eina pa, friksel, jy het gedink jy kan met my mors, nee? Nee pa, waar's Lukas? Ek weet nie pa, ek het hom gaan soek pa. Wat lieg jy daar? Ek het hom gaan soek pa, eina pa. Waar's Lukas, vra ek. Hy het weggeloop. Ek het mooi gepraat, maar hy wou nie omdraai nie. Elias skrik, skud haar aan die skouer dat haar tande klap. Watter kant toe is hy? Diepvalle se kant toe, pa. Barta en Sophie en Mali bondel soos verskrikte goed by die deur in. Waar het jy hom laas gesien? In Komse bos, pa. Goed. Kyk. Let's start with the explanations. Goed. So we spoke about Elias that told Barta what to do. Barta says, it's fine, I hear you. They're not ready yet. Then Elias has been thinking of a way to get Lukas, shall we say, normal. Okay? So he says from tomorrow he's going to let Lukas work on the wood, on the planks, on the beams, making beams and stuff like that, so that he can sweat out his problems. Okay? Barta, again, protective, saying, please just don't hit him, Elias. Elias says, I won't hit him if he listens to me. So again, this shows us how Elias manages people around him. If they don't do what he says they need to do, he acts out aggressively. He physically abuses people. Okay? Barta then warns again. The magistrate said that he will ask again to see if it's going well with him. Elias said he can find out. Now he uses an idiom. He says, "Dit in my vuur wat die kaaiing lê." Now, a kaaiing is basically like crackling. It's a little piece of usually pork belly that you would take, and then you would cut it just so there's a tiny little bit of meat left on there, and then just the fat, and then you would basically fry it up like you would bacon. Okay, so the kayang obviously is Benjamin or Lucas, and then the vuur, the fire, is Elias's house or Elias's care. So basically, that he's saying is the magistrate can find out what's going on here, but Lucas is my child, meaning I will do with him as I see fit. Okay? Then he carries on to say if he does anything again out of place, then I'm going to give him a hiding. I am not going to let me be told what to do by a child. Okay, so I'm not going to let a child tell me I am allowed to hit him or not, or whatever the case might be. Then Barta again tries to appease the situation and said, Tant Gertjie says he'll still get used to us. Elias says the issue was that he was with the colored people too long, and then he reiterates basically what the magistrate also did when he told Lucas never to say the word boss again. He says that it's very bad to hear your own flesh and blood call another white man boss. Then Barta goes to pour coffee, and she says, well, I see at least went to the forest with Nina today, so it seems like he is fitting in or starting to adjust and those kinds of things. Elias then talks about leeglê. So he says he doesn't hope he wants to go and do nothing with her all day, because obviously that's not how it goes. And then he says, I told you how many times to put Nina to work because she's just doing nothing. Then this is about stuff that she did. She cleaned the garden. Sy het geskoffel. She was busy taking out the bossies and all of those things. Now a skoffel, if you go and look in the English translation, you will see it is a hoe. I've tried to find another word for it, but there isn't really another word. But you all know what a skoffel is. So Elias says you probably mean she was dancing with the thing the whole week. Then he carries on to say that she is supposed to stay out of the forest because it's not a place for a girl. And here we see the first indication that Barta actually understands her child, knowing her love for the forest, because she says, you will not get her out of the forest. But now we get Elias again, who doesn't understand this, and again acts out aggressively, saying, I will tie her up like you tie up a runaway ox. So that's kind of bad if you think about it. And if we look at Elias's character, this is something that he will really do. And then he says something again there where he says there's something wrong with her. Goed. Then the lights go off, and now Elias is looking for them. They were in the forest, and this is not the same day as they went to blow on the bottles and those things. Okay. Barta comes out and she says, Elias, and Elias is like, do not try me today, woman. So he is already upset. And then we see something that one does not wish to see in a mother. Barta says, you can hit Nina. You can give her a hiding. I will help to hold her for you. But don't hit Lucas. Okay? So here we see that Barta is caring a lot more for Lucas than she does for her own daughter. Now, this is a bit suspicious because, I mean, if you love your children, whether you got one back now or not, if he did something wrong, he needs to be punished because that's how things work. But now saying that you will take your daughter, you will hold your daughter to be beaten by her father as long as she doesn't beat the boy, that's a bit bad. So we can see here that Barta is really trying to protect Benjamin or Lucas at all costs, which is a little bit strange. Okay? Her motivation is that if the magistrate comes and he sends a boswachter to come and see, then Lucas will be full of bruises and things. Then Elias says, do not let me get to boiling point, meaning do not get me angry today. Do I now have to go to town every time to get the magistrate chop? is basically his approval, né? His permission to do something. Voordat ek my vaderplig doen. Nou vaderplig, what does Elias see then as his duty as a father? He sees his duty as a father to beat his children, to give them hidings if they're naughty. He doesn't see it as a loving and a protecting role. He sees it as beating kids. Barta then says again, it's not what I meant. Then Elias has this whole thing where he says, stop throwing the magistrate in front of me every time. This really looks terrible. Stop throwing the magistrate at me every time that I want to put a finger on the child. Then he uses words like maaksel, and you'll see later on here he uses the word blikskottel, and over here fraksel. Now these aren't really words that we have a translation for in English. A maaksel, if you need to directly translate it, will be something like a being. Ne? It's something that was created. Mark meaning to create, and souls making it now a noun instead of, or a pronoun rather, instead of just a verb. Okay, so it's a little bit of a weird thing there, maaksels. And then blikskottel, same story. There's not really a word for that in Afrikaans, but it's like, in English you would say you little bugger or something like that. Okay, and then fraksel, same thing. Frak meaning dead, and sil then again making it a noun or a pronoun. So there isn't really a translation for that. So just keep an eye on that. So he doesn't refer to them as people. He kind of makes them less than people, which again tells us that there's very little love going on here between him and his children. If you remember back in Act 1, Scene 1, he says a man only struggles until your children are old enough to help you, which tells us the only reason why he had children was so that they can work for him one day and he doesn't have to do all the work himself. Okay, so as he talks about all of these things, he says that they are going to be working until they sweat themselves to death, and he is happy with their work. And then Nina comes in, or tries to sneak in, but he sees her, and he basically grabs her by the hair, okay, and shouts at her and asks her, where are you going, what were you doing, all of these things. All of this then is where Elias realizes that Lucas is actually running away. So he wants to know where she is, and Nina says she doesn't know. I went looking for him. So she was lying there because obviously she showed him the way. No? Then Elias finally there where he says, waar is hy? And then she says, hy het weggehardloop. I tried to talk with him, but he did not want to turn around. And then Elias gets a fright. Why is he getting a fright? Because what is going to happen to him? He doesn't know the forest. He might die in the forest again. And then he is without a child yet again. He shakes her by the shoulders until her teeth start to chatter. And then he wants to know which way. And Nina says he went to Diepwalle. And Barta, Sophie, and Mali are all staring out of the door like, what the hell is happening here? This guy's going to kill this girl today. And then Elias wants to know where last did you see him, in Komsebos, and then we will see what happens to Lucas in the next part.